Well, when I was growing up, weather girls were bimbos. Like it was the joke of, like, oh, if you don't know anything, go and just tell people about the weather. And I hated that and I didn't want to be that. But at the time, I interned at KUSA in Denver, where I am right now. And we have the most incredible chief meteorologist, Kathy Sabin. And I saw this, beautiful, gorgeous woman who was smart as hell. And she did all of her own forecasting. And, there's no script. Like when we get up there, we're one of the very few people at the station where we have no script whatsoever. There's no prompter or anything like that. And like, oh yeah, we go on there and we have to talk about the forecast. You've got to know what your forecast is. I think sometimes people think, oh, someone's going to hand it to you. And so when I decided to do weather, I made a point. I was like, I'm going back to school and I'm going to learn as much as I can. And so I did 3 years online part-time while working full-time, like in between forecasts and in between TV hits. I'm literally just like doing tests for school, like thermodynamics, learning about cloud physics, all of that. And so I never thought I was good at science growing up. And so when I was able to do it and do relatively well, it was this really cool moment of pride where I was like, I'm a scientist and that's awesome. I never thought I'd be a scientist.
Every strength is attached to a weakness, and every weakness is attached to a strength. It's something we uncover in the Ignite method. The reason I mention it with you, Kylie, is you have this terrific strength of forecasting and anticipating and being strategic even. But more recently, you've discovered something that's more vulnerable to you. Can you talk a little bit about what you've been experiencing and sharing with your followers?
Yeah, so I have been talking a lot more about my mental health and my anxiety, which is still like my palms will start sweating right now because it still makes me anxious even talking about it. But I was probably diagnosed maybe 3 years ago, but it took until probably last fall to actually start talking about it. Because if I'm being completely honest, I was very embarrassed that I had this thing that I felt like was very wrong with me. And it's so funny that you say like, I look polished and all this stuff, and because I don't feel that way whatsoever, but it is every time I have massive anxiety, and I've done entire TV shows having full anxiety attacks. Sometimes I think with mental health, we almost wish people could see and know, like, like a rash or something, like, okay, cool, you're having an anxious moment, like I can help you. But it's this weird like invisibility that people can't see, which blows me away, because inside it feels like sometimes like you're dying. I think that I just for so long would put myself in a box, like, no, I don't want to be a weather girl. And then it was through like the encouragement of others that I just started saying like, kind of just, screw it, let's give it a try and see what happens. And I think I've always found the things I'm most afraid of doing in life have been the most rewarding.